Hello there, and welcome to my review of Fire Emblem Engage. So, this is my first review on this channel. If you're here on this channel, you've probably been here for Pokemon cards, but you know what? It is time. I want to start reviewing movies and video games, and just shit I be watching all the time by myself, and stuff I especially have thoughts on, because, you know, that's what we do on the internet. That's just what we be doing. So, today we're going to talk about Fire Emblem Engage. I'm going to give a little backstory first before we get deep into this of my history with Fire Emblem. Because I feel like that's super relevant to this game, because this game has the emblems, has all the old Fire Emblem characters, and like the characters from the games and like from the other games within the rings and stuff like that. So I feel like my history with the franchise is important when reviewing this game, so you guys know where I'm coming from, because everyone's going to have a different history with it. My history, not a lot. I've only played 2 Fire Emblem games before today, 3 Houses and Fire Emblem 3 Hopes, which was the 3 Houses Dynasty Warriors game. So I'm new to the franchise, and this is all because I fell in love with Fire Emblem 3 Houses, which makes sense. I'm a Fire Emblem guy now. I want to play the old ones, but like, they're all on the DS, and I ain't trying to play games on the DS, so hopefully port them. But I fell in love with 3 Houses, and, you know, I'm like, fuck it, Fire Emblem. But yeah, 3 Houses is a high standard for me to reach, because that game I didn't expect to love as much as I did. So, not a lot of history with the franchise, so I thought that would be clear. And a lot of you'll learn throughout this review, the things I dislike about this game are the things that I think that game does well. Go off the bat, Fire Emblem Engage is a great game. No doubt about it. There's a lot of fun to be had here, a lot to do, lots of content, to the point where I'm like, I think I finished the game last night, 40 hours in, I believe, and I'm like, you know what? A little more than 40 hours. I'm like, if I play this game the way I wanted to and get every support rank and try to get as many things as I like, build up all the characters and like get everything and switch characters a lot and give everyone as high as possible in their class, it would have took me forever. There's at least 100 hours of content here easily, especially with the online stuff. I don't know how replay tickets work after you beat the game though, so maybe not, but there's like even just building up the weapons and doing the difficulty thing to increase your emblem weapons. So there's just a lot of content, and that's a highlight, especially if you don't have a lot of money to buy a lot of games. So that's important. Content. Another highlight, the characters. I love the characters. I will say, though, they give you too many characters. It is kind of off-putting, because I'm like, I want to use all these people, but sometimes until, like, up at the end of the story, you get, like, 14 people in your party, but, like, up sometimes it's 8, sometimes it's 10, sometimes it's 12. It all varies, and you're like, I want to use all these people, but I don't know if they're good enough, and I have to play all this, like, other things. So like, it can be time consuming and a lot of content, and you get close to them, but like, the characters, great. My personal favorites would be like all the princes, honestly. Like I don't want to butcher their names, because I'm like good at anime names, like Alchrist, Daimont, Tamara. I love Tamara and her whole crew, Panette and Marin. Those are like a lot of things. Of course, Fern, Vander, and Clam, Fram, my bad. Like I said, I'm bad at names. You're going to have to get used to that. Ivy was great. I loved her. Lapis. And then Vale. Like, there's a lot of cool characters. Like, you find your crew and you, like, love them. And even though it's like, I want to use more characters, sometimes you just can't, you know? And also Louis. Louis was a godsend to me at the end of the game. He's a go. I love him. And of course, all the emblems are great, but a lot of cool characters. But I do think they give you too many, which is why I'm saying, like, that's why I like 3 Houses so much, because like, you had your class and you got really attached to those characters, and you could bring in characters as you please. Like, you didn't have to recruit them. And here they just kept fucking giving them to you, and I'm like, fucking stop it. I don't want all these people. I want to be able to like focus and love a core group of characters. But it's like, I'll be honest, I'm a Persona guy, so like, they give you like nice 7 or 8 characters and you get attached to them. This game, you don't do that as well. It doesn't do that as well, which was a negative for me. But still, there's some cool characters. Fire Emblem does that well. The story's good. The story is kind of predictable though. You could see a lot of it coming for at least majority of like the first 20 chapters, like fucking dead on. Like you're seeing this shit and you're like, predictable. Like it is what it is. Even though the end, I think the end's great. The end is very good. There's a specific there's gonna be some spoilers in this review. I'm gonna try not to, but beware, I will probably spoil some. Zephyr and Gris, they're that after you beat them in chapter 23 or 24, it's just like their ending is so fucking beautiful because like they're the standout villains of this game. Obviously, Zombron's like the main villain, but like it's weird because you don't really get to know him as well. But like everything he does can lead to interesting encounters. Like he sets him up, but you really never explore him until the final chapter, which makes him come off kind of weak as a villain. Because as with like Zephyr and like Gris and like the Hounds and Maud and like I forgot the other one's name, but their ending is fucking great. Like especially Zephyr and Gris, and like the way they interact is good. It's just great. But the thing that I hate, what I hated about the Zephyr thing, they had this beautiful ending. In chapter 24, when you go to take out the third crystal, you fucking go back in time and you see Zephyr again, and they kind of like talk about some of the stuff she talks about in her final moments more. And I'm like, no, you just ruined this beautiful ending because you had to like do this little moment. I'm like, no, I did not want to see Zephyr again because Zephyr, you hate her, but she's like kind of cool looking, so you're like, hell yeah. But she's a piece of shit, but she's cool and she's good. And then you hear her hear why she's doing what she's doing. You're like, oh, I kind of feel it. And like how she actually feels, and it was just a powerful moment. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. And then they bring her back in the next chapter, not like permanently, but just like you see her again. I'm like, that kind of takes away from the moment for me. But it is what it is. Also, story-wise, I think they really did the hair color thing well. Like, explaining, like, I'm like, why do they look like this with the two hair colors? I like it. Trust me, I like it. But I'm like, there has to be plot reason before it. And, like, the Sombron being your kid thing, and then Lumera putting all her energy into you to become the Divine Dragon, split. And then it ties into the, Alear becoming the emblem thing. And I just think all that, really well done. Really well done. And then back to what I was talking about a minute ago with the thing, like the predictable story and the weird thing Zephyr right after. Then they do like the time travel thing, which time travel is hard to be great. Time travel usually misses most of the time. And in this one, it wasn't bad because it really didn't have any effect because they explained it well, which I appreciate. But I'm like, there's never time travel ever, especially in this game where, I'm gonna be honest, you revived Alear like 3 times, and I'm like, this is weird. Like, it just does little things like that stops it from being fucking amazing. Like, you know what I mean? There's so many like good things this game does, but there's so many weird things in the story, and I'm a story guy. But it's like gameplay. Let's be honest, gameplay of this game great. The emblem mechanic, the rings, like all of them, like so good. Such an interesting way to spice up the Fire Emblem gameplay. I love it. And all of them having their different abilities and weapons. It's fucking great. And even the animations for all the, like, in this game, just period, are a step up from, like, the last game, Three Houses. And it's just so cool, but then you get into, like, fuck, I lost my train of thought. Sorry. Holy shit, I lost my train of thought. And then you get into, like, the weird shit, but it's whatever, you know? Like I said earlier, lots of content, but some of the content is very mundane, and I felt like the reason I started to mainline it about like 10 to 15 chapters in, because I'm like, I'm spending too much time doing mundane tasks and always having to file inventory and do these little things. And that might be for you, wasn't for me. Not a bad thing. Like I said, lots to do in a good way, but a lot of it was not entertaining in necessarily a way. But yeah, I think I covered most of my thoughts about this game. And then the intro to the final battle. I gotta talk about that real quick. The intro to the final battle is so fucking hype. Like, I'm like, this is that anime hype shit that you want. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm feeling this, even though they're saying super like cheesy lines and like, oh, well, let's do it. I'm like, oh fuck, the music's playing, the music's swelling. I'm like, this shit is hype as hell, and I am here for it. It'd be better if the villain wasn't Sombron, because you're not interesting, even though you lay all the lore on at the end. But like, the one thing interesting thing about Sombron, I'm gonna say, is he's good. Like, everything he does makes compelling stories. Like him, like the one he corrupts people, that makes an interesting dynamic for the characters. But like, he's just not interesting, which is sad. So yeah, that is it, I think. So, a lot to like about this game, lots to do. Fuck, that's my first review. I'm falling apart at the end. I was nervous, but I felt like I was doing good up until this moment, and I'm like, oh fuck, train of thought. But yeah, a lot of quests, a lot of shit to do, lots of good in this game. But there's just little things there stopping it from me being like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 game. So, Fire Emblem Engage. My final review score is an 8.5 out of 10. I do a 20-point scale, so everything is going to be 8, 8.5, 9, 10, 1, 1.5, like, you know, like 0.5 intervals. Great time. I highly recommend it, especially if you have a deep history with Fire Emblem, because you'll get more out of it than I did, especially because, like, with all the emblems, there's references and little things and all the paralog quests. There's a lot, like, this game is great. I had a great time with it. I just didn't want to spend 100 hours in it, which was the difference between this for me and Three Houses, where I'm like, I want to spend all the time in this game. Also, there's just so many games to play right now. So, yeah. Well, thank you for watching my first review of Fire Emblem Engage. Tell me what you think. Tell me what I could do better, because this is my first review. My first score, 8.5. It's here, Fire Emblem Engage. We're engaging in reviews this season. And yeah, so tell me what you like. Tell me what you didn't like. Tell me how I can review better. I did this all in one take, so I'm not like reading off a script or anything. I just have bullet points and things I want to talk about and try not to get lost in thought. Tell me what I can do to make these reviews better. And yeah, tell me what games you want me to... No, I'm not going to review what you want. I was going to review what games I'm interested in playing. I'm sorry. I'm not like a game reviewer. I'm just going to review things I'm interested in. But yeah, so... I'd love it if you subscribe to this channel for me. And yeah, thanks for watching. And if you made it this far, I appreciate you very much. And stay tuned for whatever I review next. And until next time, engage!